Hey guys, what's up? This is Doctorian, and today I want to make a video about my UI and my tell me when. But before I do, I want to make a apology to you guys for not uploading for 4 weeks. I had a real lot of going on in real life. I had a really close family member who was really ill. Really stressful situation. And it was really hectic and a lot of bad shit happening over here. It turned out to be okay. It's all fine right now. But yeah, I had a really stressful time and I had no time to play WoW. I just got off. My GM just whispered me 5 minutes ago before making this video. Because I did not raid for 4 weeks right now. I did not upload for 4 weeks. I just had no time. I had my head in other stuff. I'm really sorry about that. I'm back though, and I saw a lot of questions about my UI, so I want to make a video about it. But before I do, I want to thank you guys for subscribing. I know I have a very small channel, but I went from 35 to 83 subscribers right now, and for me that's it's more than double the amount of subscribers. I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with all the positive feedback and comments I get. So thank you guys for subscribing and commenting on my videos. Keep it up. I will make more in the future, because I'm getting back on track. And since I saw all the questions, let's dive into my UI. The first thing you guys need to know about my UI is that it's based on ElfUI. ElfUI you can download through Google. It's not on Curse, so you need to go to Google, then type in ElfUI and you will find the website. The other thing, so I use that as my stepping stone. I use ElfUI and then I'm adding other stuff to make my UI. So, what is ElfUI in this complete UI then? ElfUI is the spell bars over here, these spell bars, the chat frame, the mini bar, the stand switch bar is ElfUI, and that's yeah, chat is that. That's about it. That's the ElfUI, and the minimap with all the buffs and stuff is ElfUI. The buffs over here. So that's all ElfUI. And I use that as my basic instrument to set up from there. So what did I add? First thing is Mr. Diablo orbs. I get a lot of questions about these orbs. And some people ask me, are you such a big Diablo fan that you have those orbs? No, I'm not that big of a Diablo fan to have those orbs. This is it, Mr. Diablo orbs. And the reason I have this is practicality. I could use the ElfUI standard frame for checking up on my HP and energy, or use my other add-on, Shadow Unit Frames. I will talk about this in a little while. But the reason I have Mr. Diablo orbs, and you can download this from Curse, by the way. You can download all the add-ons I have from Curse except ElfUI. You need to download that off their website. So, and the reason I have that is because back in Mist of Pandaria I was a Guardian Druid as main, and then our tank left the guild and we needed to find a new tank. And the only tank we could find was a Guardian Druid. And since I just dinked my Blood Decay, the guild asked me to switch to Blood Death Knight, and I did. But it was a new class for me and I needed to learn to tank, and I need to pick it up fast. I just ding it, I just leveled it, and I needed to get into raiding really fast. And the first thing I needed to know is, when do you Death Strike? Well, you wanted to have 5 stacks of Death Strike, and then Death Strike when you're around 70% of HP. And I wanted to keep track of my runic power as well. So I, somewhere on a YouTube video or on a stream, I don't remember, I saw someone with Diablo orbs, with this add-on Mr. Diablo orbs, and I really liked the big numbers. The big, this is the percentage, and this is the small number, it's the amount of HP I have. And this is the rage, or the energy, or your mana, whatever you use, it will show up in here. And I just like the size of it. I like it's very visible, it just shows up. And it's easier than to read things. It's easy to look at bars like that. I don't like to look at bars when I needed to Death Strike. I thought the reason why I have this is practicality, because the percentage is big, because if you take damage, the orb will drop, and you can see by yourself, oh, I need to death strike or I need to heal myself. Now is the time to do that. So yeah, I just think it's really practical, and that's the reason I have Mr. Diablo orbs. Now you can't see that Mr. Diablo orbs. I'm gonna run away since I'm in combat. I'm gonna be back. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm not gonna leave you. There we go. It's in class color. And it will turn red when you go into combat. But you can change a lot about Mr. Diablo orbs. Like you can see, it has a swirling animation. You can change the animation. You can make this all colors of the rainbow, your HP. You can make it pink if you want to. Make your energy purple for all I care. You can remove the demon. You can remove the archangel. You will have just 2 orbs sitting here. You can change animations, colors, make your own color, whatever. You can go nuts. You can change the skill. You can change the artwork and all that kind of crap. So, like you can see, that removes the angel and the demon. You can also use it for your pet. If you have a pet, it will show up a mini orb with its HP and stuff. So it's all good. I really like it. I really think it's functional. It's functional. It shows up with big numbers, and I like that. Really, think it's really practical. The other thing I talked about a little bit is shadowed unit frames. Now I don't like it to check up on my own HP and energy, but I do like it as a boss frame. It will show everything I'm doing to the boss with nice timers and nice squares. I can change the scale of the squares. If the boss has a buff, let's say it does more magical damage, it will show up a square on top of it, just like my bleeds, and it will show like, hey, this boss is in a state it does more magical damage or whatever. So it's really easy for me to check how the boss is doing, the amount of HP, the percentage it has, the energy rate or mana will show up here. It gives me a lot of information. I can also choose to have to show all these spells on a boss, like the Immolate from a Warlock, Frostbomb from a Mage, and all that kind of shit, and then have my bleeds be bigger than the rest of it if I want to check if everything is on a boss. I don't want that. I think that's a clusterfuck of information, and I'm just assuming everybody does his job. But if you want that, you can have the entire rates. Their ability will show up in a square beneath it, and you can make it so that yours are bigger. So there's a lot of customization going on. There's a lot of stuff you can do with it, and I really like it as a targeting frame. So that's shadowed unit frames. Damage meter is recount. Really simple. Why recount? Because it came out in Burning Crusade if I'm right, and I started using it, and I just never walked away from it. I just know how it works. I know it inside out. That's why I have it. The second chat frame over here is from ElfUI, and I just use it as an extra background to have my recount in it. I just like how it adds up, how it looks. So recount, this little buddy over here is quick mark as a tank. It really comes in handy to mark up stuff. You can just, when you have a target selected, you can just mouse over and give it a mark. Really easy. The other one, the other add-on right over here. This is Voodoo. I use this as a Resto Druid. This is what I use in my Resto guide as well. I used Healbot in the past, but I switched over to Voodoo because I just like it. There's a little bit more customization in here, which I really like. I use the private tanks basically only when I'm in Resto. I have it now to show you guys, because I can use it when you need to target something like the mushrooms on Bracken Spore. You can heal that with them. And I also use this as a raid frame, because it shows up nice in groups. It will show buffs, debuffs, curses, all that kind of shit. So yeah, that's Voodoo. You can use it as a raid frame, you can use it as a healing add-on. I think it's an amazing add-on, and I highly recommend it. So, last but not least, the final add-on I have right here is Tell Me When. Tell Me When is an add-on you can track everything in, from spell cooldown to buffs, debuffs, trinket procs, reactive abilities, swing timers. Everything is what you can use, and I will go into a little bit into more detail about that in information. I will go into a little bit more detail in a sec, because the last the add-on for a cast bar if you guys want to know what I use to interrupt and to check on the casting is quartz. I have it somewhere right here. Where are you, quartz? Work with me here, buddy. Quartz, that's what I use for a cast bar. There it is. And it's also the enemy cast bar. So, I almost forgot about that one. Tell me when. This is Tell Me When. If you guys know everything about Tell Me When, you can log out right now. You can close the video and you have seen everything about my UI. So it's Elf UI, Mr. Diablo orbs, shit out of unit frames, voodoo, recount, Tell Me When, quick march, and quartz. That's basically how I roll. That's how I work. And this is Titan panel. I used it in the Burning Crusade and stuff when there was no durability. Right now it's in Elf UI, so you don't need it, but it's an old habit. It's also it's nice to check up on my gold. So these are my add-ons. This is my UI. So if you don't have, if you know everything about Tell Me When in you don't want to know anything about it, you can log out right now and you can close down the video. If you want to know how I set up my Tell Me When for my Guardian, because I had some questions from people saying like, how did you make your Tell Me When the way it show things? I want to have that as well, but I can't do it. I'm gonna do a explanation how Tell Me When works, how I set up my Tell Me When for my Guardian Druid. So if you don't need to know, you can log off right now. If you want to know how I set up my Tell Me When and what I'm tracking, then please stay and watch the video. So when you download Tell Me When, you will get 6 of those squares, those black squares, and when you click on them, this is what you get. And like you can see, these are all the things we can track. That's a lot. Trust me, that's everything you need to track. To have down the basics, you want to know how much things you want to track. These are the columns. The squares of one row are the columns. So we have 7 columns and I have 2 rows of columns. So that's how I get the rows. If I change this to 1, I will have 1 row. So these are the rows. And these are the amount of squares, the amount of things I want to track. And I have it like this. So I'm gonna remove this one. So the first thing you let's reset this. Let's reset. There we go. So this is what you get when you click on an empty square. The first thing you need to realize is what do I want to track and what is it? Is it a spell cooldown? Is it the buff? Is it the reactive ability? What am I tracking? Things like a Savage Defense for a Guardian Druid. I'm just picking examples here. A Survival Instinct is a spell cooldown. An Icy Veins from a mage or a Mirror Image from a mage. Those two are spell cooldowns as well. But you also have buffs and debuffs. We'll get to that in a little bit, but let's say the Dream of Scenarios, I will get to that, but that's a buff. It's a proc, it gives you a buff, then you need to check on the buffs. So there's a lot of going on here. Right now I'm missing Renewal, so let me give you an example. So I have Renewal as a talent right now. I really like to give myself a big heal. I like it a little bit more than Ysera's Gift because I can choose when I need it. So spell cooldown, I want to check on Renewal. So I'm gonna go to spell cooldown, Renewal, and I'm gonna select it out of this screen. This is really important. You start typing here, it will show up here. Press enter. If you don't, it will not be saved. Really important. Press enter, otherwise it will not save. I want to know when it's usable. Okay, I want to know it needs to show up in my screen saying, hey, you can use me right now. That's what I want. So I have it on usable and then enabled and then okay. So right now, there it is, Renewal. What does this do? It shows me that I can use Renewal, and when I do use it, it's gone. It disappeared. That's what I want. That's how I like it. However, if you want to have a timer on it, especially for DPS, if I'm running on my Fury Warrior, I have timers on my Fury Warrior so I can check up on things. Spell cooldown, Renewal, it's the same, usable, but then unusable as well, and then show timer. If you don't use Elf UI, you can use show timer text, and it will show the Blizzard timer text. I have LVY, so I'm gonna use that. So if I want to know a timer on it, I will select it like this, and now I have a timer. And when the timer hits 1 minute, it will start counting down in seconds. So don't worry about it, you can then start timing things by the second. So, what do I have on the spell cooldowns? I have Berserk is a spell cooldown. I have Barskin is a spell cooldown. Survival Instincts is a spell cooldown. It's all good. It's all under there. But now it gets tricky. Dream of Scenarios is a talent as a Guardian Druid. When you crit with Mangle, you have a 40% chance that you get a free healing touch you can use on yourself. I want to know when I can heal myself. I want to see the proc go off. So, how does it work? This is not a spell cooldown. This is a buff debuff. Dream of Scenarios. Player, really important. Also really important that you press enter again, otherwise it will not save. Buff, only cast by me. This is really important because if you do not check this, then if a Feral Druid or another Guardian Druid has the Dream of Scenarios proc, it will show up as well and you will start casting Healing Touch. You will get out of bear form and butchered by the boss. So buff, only cast by me. You want to check your procs, not somebody else's proc. I want to know when it's present. Normal duration, normal stacks, enabled. So what does this do? I'm gonna use Berserk so I get a bigger chance of a crit. So right now, the way I set it up. Here we go, come on. Proc. That's Tooth and Claw. Come on. Why don't you proc? There we go. When it procs, it will show up in my screen. You can heal yourself. Okay. I'll heal myself and then it's gone. It's no longer in my screen. So it pops up the moment I get the buff. That's what I want to know. Next up, Thrash. Thrash is set up a little bit different. Thrash gives a bleed. I want to check up on the bleed. I want to know, it does a bleed over 16 seconds. I want to know when that bleed is gone. So, again, buff, debuff, Thrash, target. It's a debuff. It's a debuff on your target, on the boss. Only cast by me. I want to know when it's gone. In case I forget to put it up, I want to show up when it's gone. Normal duration, normal stacks, enabled. Okay. So right now, it shows like, hey dude, you do not have Thrash on. And when I do have Thrash on, it will disappear. It's off of my screen. Right here on shadowed unit frames it shows the timer, but if I forget to refresh it on time, 3, 2, 1, it will pop up saying, hey dude, don't forget to put your blade back on. So, Tooth and Claw, I'm doing the same with Tooth and Claw. Buff, debuff, Tooth and Claw, target, debuff, only cast by me, absent, normal duration, normal stacks and enabled. The reason I have this is that in case it procs 2 times in a row, I have 2 Tooth and Claw procs, then I'm waiting for the first one to drop off. So when I have a Tooth and Claw proc, I have used it, but it procced immediately again, then I will wait till it drops off. This will pop up in my screen saying, hey, your Tooth and Claw is gone, it's off your target, then I will use my second proc. Tell me when. Spell cooldown, tell me when, Savage Defense, sorry. Spell cooldown, Savage Defense, usable. I want to know when it's usable. Enabled, okay, really simple. But I want also to know how much time I have on Savage Defense. So, buff debuff again, Savage Defense, player, buff, only cast by me, any present, normal duration, normal stacks, enabled, show timer, show LVY timer text. Okay. Now, why do I have this? I have one that will show the amount of, will show if I can use Savage Defense and how many charges I have. Don't worry about the charges. You don't have anything to do. It will pick it up automatically. So when I use it, the other one will show how much time there is left for the next Savage Defense. So I do not override them. If this has 3 seconds, I do not want to use a new Savage Defense before it's on 1 second. So I have 1 Savage Defense showing up when I can use it and how many charges I have, and I have 1 to check up on the timer. I I only want to overlap it on 1 second or less. I do not want to overlap it at 3 seconds. I never want to have 2 in a row because that's a waste. The last one, guys, we're almost there, is pulverize. Now pulverize needs 3 stacks of lacerate. Okay, it's your final talent, it's a really good talent. You need 3 stacks of lacerate to use it. Also, you take 15% less damage for 12 seconds. So there are 2 things to check. But, so pulverize needs 3 stacks of lacerate. So that's not a spell cooldown. It's not a buff debuff, it's a reactive ability. Reactive ability, pulverize. I want to know when it's usable and enabled. So that's the first one I have. The second one I have is I want to check up how much time I have on pulverize, because it gives me 15% less damage for 12 seconds. I want to track those 12 seconds. In that case, it's buff debuff, pulverize, player, buff, only cast by me, any present, normal duration, normal stacks, enabled, show timer, show LPY timer text. So, what is happening here? The first one with reactive ability will only pop up if I have 3 stacks of lacerate. Now it will show up, hey, you can use me. Okay, I will use you. And the second one will show me the amount of time I have left. Now, why is that important? It's important so you do not override it, and I can prioritize my rotation. I don't need to spam lacerate. No, do I have time to do that mangle? Do I have time for a bleed? Do I have time for my tooth and claw block? Hey, I need to. It's almost time. It's almost running out. Now I want to refresh it. I can prioritize what. Do I have time to do other things? Do I have time to use stuff? When I only want to refresh pulverize when it's on 1 second. So I can prioritize. Do I have time for mangle? Do I have time to do my do a thrash? Do I have time to use my mole? How much time do I have left to put up those 3 mangles again? Of those 3 lacerates. So it makes your decision. It's easier to make your decisions in your rotation, and to not override it. Override it is just a waste, and it's easier to say, hey, do I need to do that lacerate right now, or should I use? Do I have time to use a mangle to get up my enough rate for my next savage defense? Which is how much time do I have left until I need to refresh my pulverize? And that's why I'm tracking the timer. It makes it a lot easier. So yeah, guys, that's my entire UI video with the explanation of Tell Me When, with the explanation of everything I'm running. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to be back. It looks right now I'm in the clear and things are settling down, and I finally can be back on track making videos, and I will. So more videos coming in the future. I thank you very much for watching. If you like my content, give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of it, and subscribe to my channel. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you around. Bye.